Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Shoulders, and welcome to my show, No Women in Heaven. Also, on our website, nowomeninheaven.com, is where you can purchase the hats. You can purchase our t-shirts, our bumper stickers. I've still put them on there though. And coffee mugs. And also, this is where you can purchase the book. Today's subject is Ivory, cursed with baldness. And I know you're saying, Ivory, cursed with baldness. Remember, several days I completed a show that said ivory worth more than gold, not Christian or Hebrew. So in this show, it explains what an ivory is. An ivory is the chosen ones. Remember, they are referred to in Scripture as worth more than gold. And the only thing that is worth more than gold is the ivory tusk of the elephant in Africa. So keep that in mind when it mentions the word ivory. Okay, let's get started here, folks, so we can go right into our show. The daughter of Zion is mentioned several times in the Old Testament. Now, when you say Zion, we're talking about the chosen ones. Now, in my Bible, they will be referred to as Tyson, T-Y-I or T-Y-S-I-O-N. But these are still the chosen ones. Here, it is Zion, mentioned several times in the Old Testament, usually in prophecy and once in poetry. Zion meant Jerusalem, and later Israel as a people of Yahuwah. Daughter of Zion then does not refer to a specific person. It is a metaphor for Israel and the loving, caring, patient relationship Yahuwah has with his chosen people. Remember, when I mentioned the word Yahuwah, we're talking about who you call God, which is a title, but that's okay. So, Zion, we know we're talking about the children of Israel. It says it's not talking about a specific individual, but that is not correct, because the daughter of Zion would be the women of the children of Israel. Okay. Kings 19:12. This would be Kings number 2 or Kings 2nd, 19:12. And this would be from the King James Bible, not from the Bible that I read, which it would be the Sefer Bible. I got some of this off of the internet for the King James Version Bible. Okay. Kings number 2, 19:21. This is the word that Yahuwah has spoken concerning him. The virgin, the daughter of Tyson, has despised you and laughed to scorn. And has despised you and laughed you to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem, or Jerusalem, has shaken her head at you. Okay, my Bible would not have the letter J. So instead of the letter J, it will start with the Y. Israel would not start with an I, it would start with the Y. And those of you who understand English, A-E-I-O-U and I, and sometimes Y. So I and Y sort of go together. And again, I mentioned Tyson, T-Y-S-I-O-N, and that is still concerning to the daughters of Zion. Isaiah 1:7. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and is desolate as overthrown by strangers. Now, you're saying, how do we get to this ivory cursed with baldness? Well, I'm getting you there. But what I'm trying to show you is, one, what is this definition of ivory? We know we're talking about the children of Israel. Two, when we hear the term Zion, who are we talking about? Again, the children of Israel. The difference is you will see Zion in the King James Bible. In my Bible, or referred to as an Ivorium, because I read the Ivorium, it is referred to as an Ivorium, not the Bible. You're going to see the word Tyson, Tyson, which still refers to these daughters of Zion. Okay, let's continue. Isaiah 1:8. And the daughters of Tyson is left as a cottage, in a vineyard as a lodge, in a garden of cucumbers as a besieged city. So, what has happened is, from the behavior of the children of Israel, or Yazriel, there is this punishment that's coming from Yahuwah. This is why you have to understand, the devil doesn't get to punish the children of Israel. Yahuwah gets to punish them, and I have that in the show also. That's why it says is that evil spirits not for everyone. Everyone else get the devil or evil spirits. Yahuwah is the one that punishes the children of Yazriel themselves. Okay, let's start and get into Isaiah 3:16, and this is where we will start dealing with the baldness that is affecting the daughters of Zion. And it will explain why they are bald. Moreover, the Lord saith, and this is from King James Version, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, Haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanting eyes. Wanton eyes. So, they walk with their necks all up, what he's saying. And how they walk in the eyes, how the eyes look. And you know how sometimes guys, you will whistle at a woman, but she doesn't turn her head. She will just kind of look with her eyes. That's sort of what that term is. Okay. Walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Come on, they had them old beautiful sandals. Some of you who are familiar with tap dancing would sort of understand what that means, because the tap is put on the heel of the shoe and also on the toe of the shoe, and they will tap dance. Okay, well, you're tinkling with your feet, you're walking, wearing these sandals, you would have something similar that makes this jingle, unless maybe they had an ankle bracelet on or something. Okay, let's continue. And this is from Christianity.com. Now, I didn't want you to think this is from me. I wanted to get this from some of your sources that you would be looking at, so then you can't say this is what I'm saying. But from Christianity.com, this is the message, is what it's saying, that this verse, Isaiah 3:16, was mentioning. The message, Yahuwah says, Zion, women are stuck up, prancing around in their high heels, making eyes at all men in the street, swinging their hips, tossing their hair, gaudy and garnished in cheap jewelry, Gaudy, and garnished in cheap jewelry. Most women were not rich. I mean, they couldn't be walking around with gold chains and gold bling bling, because you would have to have security to be able to do that. You have to do that now. You walk around with a gold chain and a bunch of bling and diamonds, you're subject to run into trouble. Okay. So that gave an explanation from Christianity.com, sort of an illustration or the message of what that verse was saying. Isaiah 3:17, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. Now, what do you mean, Anthony? We know that we can go about our society, go about in the community, and we can see these daughters of Zion. How do we know? The foreheads are bald, and the hairline starts way back here, And most of this is bald, because this is where thought comes from. So what he's saying is, these are cursed women. These are cursed women. From Christianity.com, the message is, the master will fix it so those Zion women will all turn bald and scabby, bald-headed women. The master will do it. And that's from Christianity.com. You can't say that's from me. But this is what's going on in our society. We have daughters of Zion in my own neighborhood. I see them every day. These are chosen women. And they look like me. And how do I identify who these women are? Well, first, I'm going to look at Isaiah 3:17, and then I'm going to look at these women. And one thing you notice about these women, they're bald. All up here, it's bald. I got my hair there. It's bald. In fact, if you notice, they'll take the weave and pull it forward to cover up this baldness, because what does it say? Well, I'm revealing your secret parts. Meaning that I'm revealing this nakedness. And men who understand the scripture will be able to recognize, okay, those are cursed women, I'll stay away from them. And that's what we use scripture for. We use scripture to discern, right? To be able to determine. Okay, and many times, you know, you'll come up on that old person and you'll say something. They'll say, hold on, young fellow, let me grab the scripture and see what the scripture says about it. And then from the scriptures, well, they'll say, well, you know, that isn't correct or so. Well, it's similar here. Woman comes up on you. She's got her fancy weave. What do they call that? Catfish, how it's all pulled forward. But you know, when it's removed, she has most of this bald. Okay, she's more than likely a cursed woman. So one, we know that she's a chosen woman, because Yahuwah did not go out and curse all women. He only cursed particular ones. And they would have to be the daughters of Zion. Meaning these women are the children of Yazrael. And what's sad about it, you can go through the black community and see them all day. Scripture is revealing to you who these women are. You don't have to listen to what Esau says. Esau already has you all messed around. You have to read what the scripture says, and what the scripture says is, and when you look, you say, well, wait a minute. Why are these women bald when they didn't used to be? Look at these African American women back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. They had gorgeous hair. What changed? The language changed that they begin to speak. Let me continue. Isaiah 3:18. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their casuals, and their round tires like the moon. Well, it was called, they'll say crescent moon in my book. But when you see those hats that were round like this, it's almost like having this little cap and then you've got this big round. And a lot of times it's tilted to the side. That's what he's talking about. These women dressed fashionable. So we know, hey, when you saw them coming up the street, you could hear them ding, clang, clang, clang with their feet. They with their necks all out. They got their jewelry on, their bracelets, gold chain, walking down the street just a prancing, shaking that rear end. And when men is like, foo, 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 they don't even look. They just take their eyes. See, they don't turn their head. They just look with their eyes.